Question 1. What is the benefit of using a naming convention for assets in Unity? Option A. It makes assets smaller in size. Option B. It increases Unity's load speed. Option C. It improves asset organization and helps locate files easily. Option D. It reduces asset quality. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option C. It improves asset organization and helps locate files easily. Explanation. Naming conventions improve organization by categorizing assets, making it easier for developers to find and manage files in large projects. Question 2. Which component would you add to a game object to enable gravity and physics interactions? Option A. Transform. Option B. Collider. Option C. A light. Option D. Rigid body. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option D. Rigid body. Explanation. The rigid body component allows a game object to interact with Unity's physics engine, including effects like gravity and collision responses. Question 3. How do you make a game object follow another game object's movement? Option A. Make it a child of the target game object in the hierarchy. Option B. Set both to the same transform. Option C. Attach a rigid body component. Option D. Place both game objects in the same folder. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option A. Make it a child of the target game object in the hierarchy. Explanation. Making a game object a child of another in the hierarchy makes it follow the parent's movement and rotation relative to its transform. Question 4. Which Unity tool allows you to quickly view and manipulate the position of game objects? Option A. Console. Option B. Transform tool. Option C. Inspector panel. Option D. Animation panel. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option B. Transform tool. Explanation. The transform tool is used to manipulate game object positions, rotations, and scales directly within the scene view. Question 5. How can you make a game object move relative to another game object? Option A. Use a prefab. Option B. Set it as a child of the other game object. Option C. Apply a different material. Option D. Add a rigid body component. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option B. Set it as a child of the other game object. Explanation. Making one game object a child of another in the hierarchy allows it to inherit the parent's movement and rotation, moving relative to it. Question 6. In Unity's hierarchy, what does it mean if a game object is a child of another game object? Option A. It cannot have its own components. Option B. It inherits the parent's transform properties and moves relative to the parent. Option C. It shares the same transform values. Option D. It cannot move independently. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option B. It inherits the parent's transform properties and moves relative to the parent. Explanation. When a game object is a child of another, it inherits the parent's transform properties and moves relative to the parent's position, rotation, and scale. Question 7. What types of assets can be imported into Unity? Option A. Only images. Option B. Only audio files. Option C. 3D models, textures, sounds, and scripts. Option D. Only 3D models. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option C, 3D models, textures, sounds, and scripts. Explanation. Unity supports a wide range of assets, including 3D models, textures, sounds, and scripts, all of which can be imported and used in a project. Question 8. What is the purpose of a collider component in Unity? Option A. To define an object's appearance. Option B. To edit materials. Option C. To detect interactions with other objects. Option D. To control lighting effects. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option C. To detect interactions with other objects. Explanation. Colliders define the boundaries of an object for detecting collisions and interactions, essential for physical and trigger-based events in games. Question 9. How do you create a prefab from an existing game object in Unity? Option A. Use the scene panel. Option B. Save the project. Option C. Export the game object as an FBX file. Option D. Drag the game object from the hierarchy panel into the project panel. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option D. Drag the game object from the hierarchy panel into the project panel. Explanation. To create a prefab, you can drag a game object from the hierarchy panel into the project panel, where it becomes a reusable asset. Question 10. What is the purpose of a prefab in Unity? Option A. To edit textures. Option B. To store reusable game objects that can be instantiated multiple times. Option C. To create sound effects. Option D. To create 3D models. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option B. To store reusable game objects that can be instantiated multiple times. Explanation. Prefabs allow developers to create reusable game objects that can be instantiated multiple times, making it easier to manage complex objects in a project. Question 11. How can you modify a prefab instance without affecting the original prefab? Option A. Convert it to a standalone game object. Option B. Edit it directly in the project panel. Option C. Update the base prefab. Option D. Delete the original prefab. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option A. Convert it to a standalone game object. Explanation. By converting a prefab instance to a standalone game object, you can edit it without impacting the original prefab stored in the project panel. Question 12. How can you apply changes to all instances of a prefab in a Unity scene? Option A. Delete all prefab instances. Option B. Change each instance manually. Option C. Copy the prefab to a new folder. Option D. Edit the prefab in the project panel. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option D. Edit the prefab in the project panel. Explanation. Editing the prefab in the project panel applies changes to all instances in the scene, streamlining updates across the project. Question 13. Which component makes a game object visible in the scene? Option A. A collider. Option B. Rigid body. Option C. Script. Option D. Renderer. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option D. Renderer. Explanation. The renderer component is responsible for drawing a game object on the screen, allowing it to be visible in the scene and game views. Question 14. Where are imported assets stored in Unity? Option A, Inspector Panel. Option B, a Project Panel. Option C, Hierarchy Panel. Option D, Scene Panel. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is Option B, a Project Panel. Explanation. Imported assets are stored in the Project Panel, where they can be organized and accessed for use in scenes and game objects. Question 15. Which property of a transform component defines the size of a game object? Option A, a material. Option B, position. Option C, a rotation. Option D, scale. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is Option D, a scale. Explanation. The scale property in the transform component defines the size of the game object in the 3D space, allowing developers to resize objects. Question 16. How can you ensure that textures are applied correctly when importing 3D models? Option A, place the textures in the same folder as the model. Option B, export the model without materials. Option C, re-import the textures each time. Option D, use only high-resolution textures. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is Option A, place the textures in the same folder as the model. Explanation. Placing textures in the same folder as the model file helps Unity recognize the texture paths automatically and apply them correctly on import. Question 17. Which of the following is an advantage of using prefabs in Unity? Option A. They allow for reusable game objects with consistent properties. Option B. They reduce file sizes. Option C. They automatically increase game performance. Option D. They create unique objects each time. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is Option A. They allow for reusable game objects with consistent properties. Explanation. Prefabs are reusable game objects, allowing consistent properties and behaviors across instances, which makes it easy to manage and replicate objects. Question 18. What happens when you delete a prefab instance from the scene? Option A. The prefab is removed from the project panel. Option B. All prefab instances are deleted. Option C. The prefab loses all components. Option D. The instance is deleted, but the original prefab remains in the project panel. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is Option D. The instance is deleted, but the original prefab remains in the project panel. Explanation. Deleting an instance of a prefab from the scene only removes that instance. The original prefab asset remains intact in the project panel. Question 19. How do you update an asset that was modified outside of Unity? Option A. Rename the asset. Option B. No action is needed. Option C. Re-import the asset in the project panel. Option D. Move the asset to another folder. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is Option C. Re-import the asset in the project panel. Explanation. Re-importing updates the asset to reflect any changes made outside Unity, ensuring it appears correctly in the project. Question 20. How can you create variations of a prefab without affecting the original? Option A, edit the prefab directly. Option B, create a new scene. Option C, duplicate the prefab in the project panel. Option D, use prefab variants. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option D, use prefab variants. Explanation. Prefab variants allow you to create variations of a base prefab with unique changes, while still inheriting properties from the original. Question 1. If a parent game object is moved, what happens to its child game objects? Option A. They move with the parent. Option B. They rotate in place. Option C. They remain in their original position. Option D. They are automatically deleted. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option A. They move with the parent. Explanation. Child game objects move relative to the parent's position, making them follow the parent's transform properties automatically. Question 2. What does the transform component define for a game object? Option A. Its position, rotation, and scale. Option B. Its lighting. Option C. Its animation. Option D. Its texture. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option A. Its position, rotation, and scale. Explanation. The transform component defines the game object's position, rotation, and scale in the 3D world, making it a fundamental part of every game object. Question 3. Which Unity component allows a game object to produce sound? Option A, audio source. Option B, light. Option C, collider. Option D, rigid body. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option A, audio source. Explanation. The audio source component allows a game object to play audio clips, making it essential for adding sound effects or background music. Question 4. What is the purpose of the rigid body component? Option A. To store asset files. Option B. To apply physics properties like gravity to a game object. Option C. To make objects emit light. Option D. To create sound effects. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option B. To apply physics properties like gravity to a game object. Explanation. The rigid body component allows game objects to interact with Unity's physics engine, enabling properties like gravity, mass, and collisions. Question 5. Which of the following can be attached to a game object to give it specific functionality? Option A, component. Option B, material. Option C, transform. Option D, scene. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option A, component. Explanation. Components, such as rigid body and audio source, provide game objects with specific functionality like movement or sound playback. Question 6. What is a game object in Unity? Option A. A script template. Option B. A physics calculation tool. Option C. An object that represents all entities in a Unity scene. Option D. An asset storage folder. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option C. An object that represents all entities in a Unity scene. Explanation. In Unity, every entity in a scene is represented as a game object, which can hold components that define its behavior and properties. Question 7. Which tool would you use to change the position, rotation, or scale of a game object? Option A, Project Panel. Option B, Hierarchy Panel. Option C, Inspector Panel. Option D, Transform Tool. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option D, Transform Tool. Explanation. The Transform tool allows developers to modify a game object's position, rotation, and scale directly in the Scene View or Inspector panel. Question 8. What happens if you modify a prefab in the project panel? Option A. Only the selected instance updates. Option B. All instances of the prefab in the scene update. Option C. A new game object is created. Option D. The prefab is deleted. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option B. All instances of the prefab in the scene update. Explanation. Modifications to a prefab in the project panel affect all instances of that prefab in the scene, allowing for centralized changes. Question 9. Which of the following is not a component that can be attached to a game object? Option A, rigid body. Option B, collider. Option C, texture. Option D, audio source. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option C, or texture. Explanation. Textures are assets, not components. Components like rigid body, collider, and audio source provide behavior or interaction properties to game objects. Question 10. What does it mean when a game object scale is set to 1, 1, 1? Option A. The object has no components. Option B. The object cannot be resized. Option C. The object is invisible. Option D. The object is at its original size. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option D. The object is at its original size. Explanation. A scale of 1, 1, 1 means the object is at its original size, with no scaling applied along the X, Y, or Z axes. Question 11. In the transform component, which property defines an object's orientation? Option A, a position. Option B, rotation. Option C, component. Option D, scale. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option B, rotation. Explanation. The rotation property in the transform component sets the orientation of the game object, allowing it to turn or face different directions. Question 12. What happens to a child game object when the parent game object is disabled? Option A. The child game object is also disabled. Option B. The child game object resets its position. Option C. The child game object becomes invisible. Option D. The child game object is unaffected. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option A. The child game object is also disabled. Explanation. When a parent GameObject is disabled, all child GameObjects are also disabled and will not be active in the scene until the parent is re-enabled. Question 13. Why is it helpful to use folders to organize assets in the project panel? Option A. It saves project memory. Option B. It speeds up script compilation. Option C. It reduces the project file size. Option D. It makes assets easier to find and manage. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option D. It makes assets easier to find and manage. Explanation. Using folders helps to logically organize assets by type or function, making them easier to locate and manage in larger projects. Question 14. Which component would you add to allow a GameObject to detect mouse clicks? Option A. Rigid body. Option B. Audio source. Option C. Renderer. Option D. Collider. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option D. Collider. Explanation. A collider component enables a GameObject to detect collisions and interactions, including detecting clicks and touches when the GameObject is selected. Question 15. How do prefab overrides work in Unity? Option A. They only apply to scenes. Option B. They apply temporary changes to a specific instance. Option C. They permanently change the base prefab. Option D. They create a new prefab variant. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option B. They apply temporary changes to a specific instance. Explanation. Prefab overrides are modifications made to a specific instance of a prefab without changing the original prefab in the project panel. Question 16. What is the recommended way to import a model into Unity? Option A. Copy the model into the GameObject hierarchy. Option B. Drag and drop the model file into the project panel. Option C. Open the model in the inspector panel. Option D. Export the model as a Unity package. Take a moment to choose your answer. The correct answer is option B. Drag and drop the model file into the project panel. Explanation. You can import models into Unity by dragging and dropping them into the project panel, which then allows Unity to recognize the file as an asset.